That's right, everyone. It is the NLFA today. Welcome to the studio. I, of course, am not your usual host. I am stepping in for our softball veteran. Well, not because he looks like one. He's actually playing it tonight. Freddie the Jester Reyes, we are with you. Good luck tonight. I'm here to talk about NLFA action, and we got some big stuff to talk about. Let's get our intro started, and welcome to my co-host, Justin Herrera.
In honor of Freddie, I'm going to deliver it this week. NLFA, that's what it is.
Indeed, that's what it is right. We have a championship game to talk about. That's super exciting. Let's get on to our other introduction, our other co-host. Welcome to the studio, Nick Macarenas.
Yeah. That's my whoop whoop to Freddie. So that's pronounced Macaronis, even though we've known each other for 16 years. I'm here to talk about some NFLA football.
After all these years, I still do it. I'm so sorry. I think he's corrected me about 1,000 times. It's so funny. All right.
This is only the 100th time on live.
Blasphemous indeed. All right, well, let's get things started off tonight. Like I said, we had one hell of a champion. Well, we didn't have the championship match, but we had the prelims, I guess, if you will, conference championships. We could put it that way. We had a very good, exciting game. I happened to be on the call. Had some internet issues that night, unfortunately. So I was a little in and out of the first half, but the second half, man, it was just such a great ball game. It was fun to be a part of that. So again, we appreciate being a part of this season with you guys. Let's actually, though, there was another match. It's supposed to be two. So we had the Bombers versus the Rattlers. Unfortunately, the Rattlers did not even show, which makes them, my ode to Freddie, the SWAT of the week.
It's what it is. Oh, Rattlers, how do you go? Make it to the playoffs. Have the one opportunity on any given Monday to win the game and forfeit. Forfeited. I could not believe you forfeited. So, Rattlers, obviously for that, you are the SWAT of the week. I'm so ashamed of you.
Rattlers got the rod and reel out early and hit the lake because they are done. See you later. Bombers waiting for the championship. And again, I mentioned it earlier. We had a great matchup between the Lumberjacks and the Roughnecks. I'm going to go ahead and play our breakdown this week, so that way we don't have to listen to Fred fumble through what he thought happened in the game.
Breakdown!
Huge playoff game between the Lumberjacks and Roughnecks for the right to face the Bombers in the NLFA Championship. Let's start here early in the first quarter. Little misdirection. Derek Banks takes it up the sideline looking like the MVP candidate, getting the Lumberjacks up early 6-0. That was after a couple of fumble attempts by the Roughnecks taking advantage. Then the subsequent extra point, doing it himself all day. They're up 8-0. The Roughnecks, however, came to play today. Weston Bigby, a huge man-type run, would not be taken down, would not be denied that touchdown. Great job there, great run. Put the Roughnecks in position 8-6. Then we see Ortiz doing it himself. He wanted to take a page out of Banks' books. Hey, I got to get in there. Let's tie this thing up. It's 8-8. Then this happened. Noah Stanley on the run. He's gone. Touchdown. Great throw by Ortiz. Great play. The Roughnecks making it rough for the Lumberjacks, putting it right back to them 14-8. The subsequent extra point, however, is no good, which would prove to be costly as Derek Banks finds a slanting Marvin Carter over the middle, giving you a reason to want to go to the gym with a strong catch, tying this ball game, getting the Lumberjacks an extra point away from the championship game. Then Dante Casey high steps himself and the Lumberjacks to the title game. Final score 16-14 Lumberjacks. And that sets up our championship. The Bombers facing the Lumberjacks next week for the NLFA title. So there was the game. Like I said, there was a lot more intrigue. Just unfortunately, I don't get paid enough to cut that many highlights. So, but lots to talk about in the matchup itself. A lot of fumbles, a lot of miscues. Derek Banks himself made a crucial interception down by the goal line as well. So a lot of things to talk about. Justin, let's just start with you first. Biggest takeaway overall from the matchup, in regards to last week?
Biggest takeaway from both teams was the Roughnecks came to play in this game. They'd had a couple of bad games. We were kind of seeing if maybe their motivation was kind of going in the toilet, kind of where the Rattlers were. Maybe they were going to go fishing with them afterwards. But they actually came out. They played really hard. Couple of costly fumbles, just trying to get the ball to the running back, cost them 2 prior drives and set up a Lumberjack score on the first drive. On the Bigby touchdown, that was a man's touchdown. That is a horse collar tackle right there, and that man just shrugged him off like it was nothing. Big props to you, sir. Also, big props to you, sir, because you stopped the Lumberjacks from scoring after that second fumble, getting a much-needed sack on Derek Banks before he forced a 4th down conversion that was incomplete. So Bigby was all over the field. He was doing great work. You missed your Boomer moment. You missed your Chris Berman moment when you could have said on Stanley's run, he could go all the way.
It's super funny. Hold on a second. I don't mean to interrupt, but it's super funny you said that because I literally started to do something like that. And I'm like, nah, I'm not going to rip anyone. Let me just do my own thing. But yeah, that's funny you mentioned it.
That's what I was thinking the entire time when that little silence was in there. I was just like, he could go all the way. A couple other notes. It's going to be interesting for the Lumberjacks. They have that outside run going really well. Like, their outside run is phenomenal. In the second half, they went to the inside run, and they figured out why they shouldn't do that. Because the defensive tackles of the Roughnecks, really good squad. They were really tough up the middle. They couldn't get anything going. Lumberjacks, word to the wise, do what you are doing and stick to what's going to make you the money. That's going to be the outside run. If they're not setting the edge on you, keep going in outside with Derek Banks. Keep throwing those guys out there. Throw West out there a little bit. Throw them big man some love. But overall, great game. Came down to the wire, and the Lumberjacks almost got upset.
Nick, what's your overall thoughts on the matchup?
My overall thoughts is that the Lumberjacks played just good enough defense, blocked just good enough up front to let Derek Banks do what he does. He's not that of an accurate passer. He's got a strong arm, but he's elusive enough to when they go with the misdirection and they ride the ball down the line, he can tuck it and make that quick decision. Is it a give or do I tuck it and run? So again, he's not accurate, but he's got a strong arm. He can actually throw guys open. So that's what I like about his game. And it just seems like he's got that command presence when he's in the pocket. It looks like whenever I'm watching the huddle, I'm watching him call out the plays, and I'm seeing the head bobs and everything. To me, obviously, I can't hear what's going on, but to me, what it looks like is his line and his team believes in him, that they're going to get behind him, and he's going to lead them down the field and that's what you need. I mean, we watch from Pee Wee up at the pros. If your team does not believe in the quarterback, it's going to be a long day. So again, they actually came through some adversity. We're not used to seeing them have adversity. They're usually just rolling. So it's good to see that they overcame the adversity in the game, and they persevered. And again, it's Derek Banks right, Derek Banks left, Derek Banks up the middle.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very astute point, Nick, in regards to facing the adversity. I mean, there was plenty of times in that game where you just kind of thought, okay, the Roughnecks could really take control of it, and they had opportunities even to go up 3 scores at one point. Unfortunately, again, turnovers, simple little things, the handoffs. Last week it was the exchange between the center and the QB, and now it seemed to be the exchange between the QB and the running back. That simple little things, like, when I used to coach the kids, I'd always do this, ask them what it is. It's the little things. That's what's going to get you the victory. Again, but the Roughnecks, great game by them. Ortiz played a hell of a game too. That bomb was super nice, super sweet, especially backed up in his end zone like that. Shows he's got a cannon once he gets protected, enough time to throw the ball. And again, the defense, they've been playing great all year. Quinn Green actually was one of the linemen I wanted to shout out. I saw he made a big sack towards the end of that game. So again, big play. Yes, Justin, you want to chime in?
Oh, I just wanted to add on to one thing that Nick said. The RPO with Banks is absolutely phenomenal. On the drive that he scored, he actually faked out the cameraman. The cameraman went right with the running back while Banks was going to the left, and he had to catch up to Banks on that scoring drive. It was lucky that he scored, or else he would have missed the entire play.
Yeah, it was almost actually what we're lucky is that the drone didn't crash, because it was, like you said, it went whoop, whoop. So yeah, that was, and it was good. As we watched that play, that drive develop too. I mean, it was basically right, left, right, left. They didn't do that until that play, that little bit of motion to the right. So it was nicely set up. They totally bit on it, and he was gone up the left side. So great call by the coach there as well. All right, well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the MVP voting and the offensive MVP and things like that. We'll come back, talk about that, and then hey, guys, we got a big game this coming up weekend. We got to talk about that as well and get our predictions. So let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Hayden, we love fantasy football.
We do?
It's a fantastic game, yet still not perfect. Like, I hate leaving high-scoring players on my bench.
The worst, man.
In fact, hate it even more when I put injured players and they're in my starting lineup.
Can't have that.
And I need a life. The waivers, the trades, every single week, it grinds on me. So we at Underdog Fantasy want to make fantasy football easier for everyone out there. It's called Best Ball, and we set your optimal lineup for you each and every week. You can do it all year long. We have drafts going all the way from February to week 1 of the NFL season. What are you waiting for? Use our awesome early sign-up offer to get a little extra something on that first deposit and that first time you play on Underdog Fantasy.
You put them up, reach the skies as the stars up above, cause it's one time for the underdog, one time for the underdog.
So the next time you watch that commercial, I would like for you to pay close attention to the man on the right side of the screen. Sir, you are completely uncomfortable, and I apologize that you even have to be there. So I just wanted to point that out. Every time I seem, for some reason, notice how uncomfortable he looks.
He looks like Eli Manning.
Let's get on to the MVP voting. We'll build up to the MVP. Let's go to the Special Teams Player Award. So we have the 4 candidates here. Dominic Pugh, number 25, Jordan Jeter, number 13, Ted Nealums Jr., and number 11 and number 41, Justin LeBlanc. I'm sorry, I should have said the teams. Dominic Pugh from the Bombers, Jordan Jeter from the Roughnecks, Ted Nealums from the Bombers, and Justin LeBlanc from the Lumberjacks. Anyone out of there sticks out to you guys as your vote for Special Teams Player of the Year?
Not for special teams player of the year, but I did like what Justin LeBlanc did as a receiver for the Lumberjacks. He was very efficient. You know, kind of an explosive kid. I think I didn't get to honestly. I didn't really pay too much attention to the special teams end of it.
Well, to be fair, there's not much special teams involved in the league, so it's okay, bro. Look,
I just gotta go for like the best punter at that point. You know? Who can get it downfield? That's my vote right there.
Well, there was one name in here that I didn't see him on anything else, but I do remember saying his name quite frequent during the broadcast, and that was Dominic Pugh. Pew pew. I mean, I said it a bunch of times. He was around everywhere. He was the guy. I like Dominic Pugh, so that's where I voted for him there. That's for you, bro. All right, let's move on. We'll go to Defensive Player of the Year. Any one of those guys stand out to you that you've noticed in the defense as far as a standout candidate? Nick, real quick, we'll go to you.
I like Joey Batts, the DB from the Bombers. You know, when I watch him play, I think of one term, ball hawk. So he's around the ball every single time. That's why I like him to win the award.
He sounds like he's got an old mafia name, like Joey Betts. Let me go get my bets with Joey Betts. That's what 2 times. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can't go wrong there. He's definitely been all over the field this year. Key player for the Bombers on defense. It seems like there's a lot of Bombers, by the way, on Defensive Player of the Year. Might be telling you something. Justin, anyone on there for you?
Well, when you're on a winning team, it's easy to get everybody on your team up for an award. Just ask all the Heisman winners that come from like Georgia and all those places. Anyways, my guy is actually going to be – I'm going to throw a bone to the Rattlers because I like this guy. I like this playing style. Joe MacArthur in one game against the Roughnecks had 5 forced fumbles. I'm like, this guy, he comes out there, he plays really hard every single time. He's a two-way player like just about everybody on this league is, but he gives it his all. And obviously his team wasn't able to pull together a win, but here's your W, bud. Your defensive player of the year in my mind.
Listen, anyone that goes out on the Rattlers and plays hard is an MVP candidate in my vote. I mean, let's face it. Good job. Yeah, I definitely agree. He plays hard. But my pick, and I kind of went off the cuff too, not quite the winning team, but I just saw him, and like I said, I shouted him out. Quinn Green, he steps up on the defensive line for the Roughnecks more than most. I like those big defensive tackles, guys getting in the rough. That's the guys you want for defensive player of the year. Seeing him all year, disrupting the quarterback, making big sacks, timely sacks is a big thing. So that is my vote for defensive player of the year. Let's move on to MVP, and then obviously offensive MVP. We'll kind of wean off that. So we'll go to you first, Justin. Who is your MVP and offensive MVP for the season?
Well, it's kind of got to be the same person. I mean, we've been talking about it. It's Derek Banks. I mean, you sweep it across there, man. This guy is just the best offensive weapon in the league. We were talking about it. The offense is just built around his talent. I mean, he is an RPO threat. He's got a big arm. You just don't know where the ball is sometimes. Like, he is really a magician at getting, these running backs the ball, and, he can keep it and take it in himself. He had a couple end arounds where I was just like, okay, where'd the ball? I got lost in the shuffle of where the ball actually went. And then you see like a guy running. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. He's got it. But you can kind of like, when you backtrack it, you can kind of see that this guy's just got really good hands. He's, he knows his offense. He knows what it does well. And it's outside run, and he's fit for it. So, when it comes down to that, they're a winning team for a reason. That's because of him.
So I'm assuming then offensive MVP would then be AJ Esther then. I mean, because I think we're going to go back and forth. Is there someone else you're going to surprise us with?
You know what? AJ Esther is actually like he's the 1B at that point. I know that's kind of like a little downgrade to it, but he is the 1B. Derek Banks is the MVP. AJ Esther wins the Offensive Player of the Year because he can't win the MVP at this point. At least in my mind. He can win it, but at least in my mind, he can't win that shit.
Nick, there is only one. Who is it? Who's MVP?
Derek Banks.
So we got 2 Banks. You agree? All right. Listen, I'm going to say this just because we're going to get to the breakdown of this week's coming up game. I'm actually going to go against you guys. I like AJ Esther. I think what you guys are victim of just the in the now moment. You just saw Derek Banks will his team to a victory, get his team all the way to the championship. AJ didn't have to have that opportunity, unfortunately, because the Rattlers didn't afford him that. So, he's been making plays all year. I mean, we've seen he's in the highlight reels. I mean, any kind of highlight reel I do for the NLFA, AJ Esther's in it. So he's my MVP. Derek Banks, definitely, again, we're splitting hairs between both of them. Both of them are, great offensive players and deserve their award. We're going to take a quick break. We get back. We will talk about the championship game. Hey everyone, it's Commissioner Cooper from TSS Fantasy. Want to give your own fantasy league that extra professional touch? Say less, we got you. TSS was based off a show that we did on our own fantasy league. Night, sorry, and now possible play hole. You're on your way. Now we want to bring that professional, fun, and creative side to your fantasy league. And you can do it for as low as $5 extra per owner.
Oh my.
I will guarantee it will increase your interactions within the league, create more fun, friendly banter, and give your league that extra real-life feel that you didn't know it needed. We look forward to interacting with you and your league soon. Don't forget TSSFantasy.com. Go visit it today. Get signed up. We are the fantasy show of the people. The fantasy show, the people indeed. Now the NLFA today of the people. We got a big championship matchup, guys. The Bombers obviously deserve to be here. Number 1 seed, dominant all season long. However, a split series between this Lumberjack team, making things very interesting. In fact, I remember when the Bombers were the SWAT of the week. So, I mean, that was actually the last game that they played. So the Bombers right now seething, waiting for this matchup. Wouldn't they love to take it to the Lumberjacks and take the whole thing? Justin, let's go to you. Let's talk about it real quick. Who do you think's going to win and why?
So I'm just going to go off of what I saw. Lumberjacks, they looked a little bit volatile. They look like, if Banks isn't on and if they're not making the right decisions, they're kind of one of those teams that you can definitely beat. I thought going into it was going to be the Lumberjacks 100%. After last week's showing, I'm kind of a little bit iffy on it. I think I'm going to go with the Bombers. I'm going to go with the Bombers by 5. And I think that AJ pulls it out. He might not win the MVP, but he'll definitely have the win over the MVP.
Yeah, I had a little text message here from the Jester. It looks like he's in the dugout right now. Probably he's on the bench. He just doesn't want to admit it. His prediction for the matchup is the Bombers by 2. Like, he thinks it's going to be a close matchup. So, this is going to be. Wait, or was that you? I'm sorry, 10. My bad. I'm looking at your message.
Well, you just outed my prediction. No, I changed it this show.
Fred's got the Bombers by 10 in this match. He likes the Bombers a lot, apparently. Nick, how about you? Who do you like in this championship matchup?
Well, gentlemen, me, I always like to go against the grain. So I'm going to go with the Lumberjacks because I just think this year that the Lumberjacks, especially Derek King, they just got that thing rolling. Like I said in the last segment, they faced adversity. They came out the winning team on the other side of it. So I think they're going to take that momentum into the next game, and I think they're going to take the Bombers to the woodshed, and I think it's going to be the Lumberjacks by 12.
I'm sure Derek Banks' wife appreciate you calling him king, but it's Derek Banks.
Derek the King Banks. That's it. Derek the King Banks.
He's the king, apparently, to Nick. Listen, so I will say
about the wide receiver from the Patriots.
I will say I'm going to have to agree with the other fellas on this. I like the Bombers in this matchup only for the reasons I mentioned. Last game, again, they got it. Basically got hammered. Didn't have their starting center in though. We had Coach Holland on. He had mentioned that during that interview he was in. So again, having a full healthy Bombers squad, chewing off that last whooping, basically, essentially got a chance to rest and watch what the Lumberjacks did in a good game. It's not like they could hide anything last week. They had to put it all on the line last week. So, it's not like they're going to change a whole lot, but it's interesting that they both went back and forth and, it was one whooping on 22-2 once and 38. I think it was 12 on the other side. So, again, should see some good offensive sparks at least, which will make it fun. And again, it's championship football. So hopefully not a little less mistakes than last week. I know the nerves probably, again, when you start off, were there, but you got to make those at least those little things. Get that handoff and then pass it on, and then it's on after that. The play happens. So, guys, I think that's going to about wrap it up for today. I'm really super excited for this matchup this week. We appreciate the NLFA letting us bring everything home. Next week, we'll have a show, and we'll highlight what happened in the championship game and also go over the awards as well. Hopefully have some of the award winners on as well. Guys, you have any parting shots for the NLFA audience before we head out? Justin, go to you.
Yeah. Great season. Keep on growing, and hopefully this thing, gets even bigger next year, because Belly Up's going to be right here, ready to celebrate with you guys, ready to cover you guys. And yeah, let's go.
Wherever you go, wherever you do, Justin Marks will be right there waiting for you. Nick, what do you got?
Who's Justin Marks?
It's Richard Marks. It's a joke. Let's go. Move it along.
Okay.
It went over your head.
All right. Thank you. So, again, just to reiterate from what I said about 4 or 5 shows ago, what Coach Witherspoon is doing with this league is something special. It should be revered. Again, he takes guys. It's like basically like a second chance It's a second chance league. Okay. So it's great for the community, and it's great for the guys to get back in the game. And again, hats off to him, and I think it's going to be bigger and better next year as they get more teams and more players interested in getting involved.
Indeed. We are excited. We're excited to be a part of it, and we are definitely excited for the championship this weekend. We appreciate you, and we are out.